All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to grab our digital magnifying glass and step right into the middle of a cybercrime scene. We're going to explore the art of the digital detective.
You know, it's kind of like Sherlock Holmes. Modern digital investigators, they work on this really simple but incredibly powerful idea. Every single contact leaves a trace. In the digital world, that means every click, every download, every connection, it all leaves a trail of breadcrumbs for someone to find.
Just imagine this for a second. It's the nightmare scenario every single company fears. Your whole operation just grinds to a halt. Sensitive data is spilling out onto the internet, and the clock is ticking. I mean, the damage, both financial and to your reputation, it can be absolutely massive. We're talking about something that could threaten the entire business.
So in that moment of pure chaos, what happens next? Who do you even call? Well, this is when the digital detectives get the call. These are the professionals in what we call digital forensics and incident response, or DFIR for short. Their job is to parachute into that digital mess and start making sense of it all.
Okay, so first things first, let's really break down what we mean when we say DFIR.
So first, you've got the digital forensics part. And honestly, the best way to think about this is like a super meticulous crime scene investigation. It's all about carefully identifying, collecting, and analyzing digital evidence. But, and this is the crucial part, doing it all without contaminating anything. Just like bagging and tagging evidence at a physical crime scene, keeping that data pristine is absolutely everything.
And then there's the other half of the coin, incident response. If forensics is the investigation, this is the crisis management. This is the team of first responders. They've got a structured, step-by-step plan to contain the damage, kick the attacker out, and get things back up and running as safely and as quickly as possible.
Right, so when these digital detectives show up on the scene, what are they actually looking for? What do these digital fingerprints even look like?
Okay, this is super important. We need to get the difference between two key things: forensic artifacts and indicators of compromise, or IOCs. Think of it this way. The artifact is the container. It could be a folder, a system log, whatever. The IOC is the actual clue, the fingerprint you find inside that container, like a shady IP address or the signature of a known virus.
Let's make this real. A good investigator knows that on a typical Windows computer, the folder where Microsoft Teams stores its data is a fantastic forensic artifact. It's just a treasure trove, packed with potential evidence like chat logs, file transfers, and all sorts of user activity.
And then, when you're digging around inside that artifact, you might find something like this, a total smoking gun. This is an indicator of compromise. It's decoded data from a piece of malware, and look what it gives you. The actual IP addresses for the attacker's command and control servers. I mean, this isn't just some random clue. It's a direct line right back to the bad guys.
But here's the thing. Just finding clues after the damage is done, that's only half the battle. The whole game in cybersecurity now is about getting ahead, about understanding how the criminal thinks so you can catch them before they succeed.
And this really illustrates that huge shift in strategy. It's all about moving away from being purely reactive, just cleaning up messes, to being proactive and trying to stop the attack before it gets out of hand.
And that brings us to another really key distinction. Those IOCs we talked about, indicators of compromise, they tell you what happened after the fact. But now we also look for indicators of attack, or IOAs, and they're different. They focus on the how. It's all about spotting an attacker's behavior, the techniques they use, no matter what specific tool they're using. It's about recognizing their playbook, not just the weapon they left behind.
Okay, check this out. Take this chain of infection for a ransomware attack. An IOC, the old way, would be finding that final ransomware file on a computer. But an IOA is this entire map. It shows you the attacker's whole game plan, how they first broke in by exploiting a VPN, how they moved around the network, and then how they finally deployed the ransomware. If you can spot these behaviors, you can stop an attack in its tracks.
Okay, so knowing all this when an attack is actually happening in real time, how do teams respond? Without totally panicking and making everything worse.
Well, they don't just wing it. The best teams, they rely on proven, structured plans called frameworks or playbooks. These are basically detailed step-by-step guides that make sure the response is methodical, efficient, and that nothing important gets missed in the heat of the moment.
One of the most common frameworks out there comes from NIST, the U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology. And there's a reason for that. It just works. It's a clear, reliable playbook that breaks the whole response process into 4 logical phases. First, you prepare.
Then you detect and analyze. Third is that critical stage, containment, eradication, and recovery. And finally, you have post-incident activity, which is all about learning from what happened so it doesn't happen again.
But that second phase, detection, oh man, that is a huge challenge. Get this, according to a 2020 study from IBM, the average time it took for a company to even realize they'd been breached was a staggering 207 days. So why so long? Well, it's because modern attackers are masters of stealth. They know how to hide their tracks and blend in with all the normal network noise. You just can't fight an enemy you can't even see.
And all of this really leads to a major shift in how you have to think about security. It's not about if you'll have an incident, but when. It's no longer about hoping to avoid it, it's about preparing for the inevitable.
So what's the takeaway here? It's that a modern incident response plan has to be proactive. You need specific playbooks for different kinds of threats, because you don't handle ransomware the same way you handle a data leak. The whole strategy has to be aligned with what the business is trying to achieve. And most important of all, you have to test these plans. You have to run drills, find the weak spots, and make sure everything actually works under pressure.
Look, at the end of the day, a security incident is a painful experience, no doubt. But it's also a massive learning opportunity. The goal isn't just to get back to normal. It's to figure out what happened, fix the real problem, and build a stronger, tougher defense for the future. So the question for any organization isn't just, are you ready to respond? It's, are you prepared to learn?